In this series of videos, we will read the Care Certificate workbooks, both what you need to know and what do you know now. This video covers Standard 5, Work in a Person-Centred Way, what you need to know. And it's over to my colleague to read through this workbook.
The Care Certificate, Work in a Person-Centred Way. What you need to know. Standard 5, the Care Certificate Workbook. Values in health and social care. Whether or not we are aware of it, we all live our everyday lives by a set of values that shape how we think and react. Values are beliefs and ideas about how people should behave, which have been formed by our childhoods, families, backgrounds, cultures, religions, educations, and relationships. Whilst we each have our own values, there are values which are important for working in health and social care. These are central to work in health and social care. They are principles that guide workers to understand right from wrong and are about what is important when caring and supporting individuals. 6 values are now recognised as applying to health and social care workers. These are known as the CARE. Having someone's best interests at heart and doing what you can to maintain or improve their well-being. Compassion. Being able to feel for someone, to understand them and their situation. Competence. To understand what someone needs and have the knowledge and skills to provide it. Communication. To listen carefully but also to be able to speak and act in a way that the person can understand. Fear to try out new things or to say you are concerned about anything. Commitment. Dedication to providing care and support, but also understanding the responsibility you have as a worker. Another way of looking at the 6 C's is that each individual must be placed at the centre of their care and support. It must fit the individual rather than the individual being made to fit existing routines or ways of doing things. This is known as person-centred working. Person-centred values tell you how to work in a person-centred way. Unique. Unique needs means that every person has got their own needs which are different from everybody else's. Person-centred values. These are the guiding principles that help to put the interests of the individual receiving care or support at the centre of everything we do. Examples include individuality, independence, privacy, partnership, choice, dignity, respect, and rights. Person-centred values in practice. In health and social care, person-centred values include individuality. Each person has their own identity, needs, wishes, choices, beliefs, and values. One size fits all does not work when it comes to providing care and support. Rights. The Human Rights Act 1998 is the main legislation that sets out the rights of people in the UK. You have the right to speak your mind and be kept safe from harm, as well as the right to respect, dignity, and equality. You should make sure an individual's rights are respected, not only by yourself but other people involved in care. Choice. Each individual should be supported to make choices about their care and support. They should be given information in a way they can understand so they can make informed choices. When working with individuals who cannot express their wants, needs and wishes in words, you must find other ways of communicating. Additional training and supervision can help you develop these skills. Privacy. Everyone has the right to private space and time when they need it. Privacy affects how and where care and support is given, especially when it involves. Privacy includes not talking to anyone about the individual's private information unless they gave you permission and it is on a need-to-know basis to improve their care and support. Independence. Promoting an individual's what they can do for themselves and empowering them to do as much as possible for themselves. It does not mean leaving someone to cope alone, but agreeing the support they need and want. Empower. This term confidence, voice and power to speak out on their own behalf and to feel in control of their actions. Dignity. Treating somebody in a dignified way means to treat someone with respect, valuing their individuality and their ethical and moral beliefs. In order to provide dignified care, you need to have an open and positive attitude. Take time to do things their way, don't make assumptions, and be aware of how personal care personal care may affect their dignity. Respect. Respecting someone means believing and showing that they have importance as an individual. It means that they have their own opinions and feelings, and that even though you may not agree with them, you do respect them. Partnership. You work in partnership when you involve the individual and their family to work alongside other workers. The key to a successful partnership is good communication and trust, valuing and respecting what others have to say. Working in a way that promotes person-centered values. Working in a person-centered way means working in partnership with the individual to plan for their care and support. The individual is at the center of the care planning process and is in control of their lives. The values of compassion, dignity, and respect are essential when involving people in their own care. Decisions should be shared decisions with the individual seen as an equal partner in their care. The design and delivery of the services they are accessing, and the public should be involved in the decisions about what services are being provided to their community. Person-centered planning is about discovering and acting upon what is important for the individual and what matters most to them in their lives. The key features of the person-centered planning are the belief that the individual is best placed to decide what care and support they need and can plan for themselves. By working with the individual to identify, for example, an individual may want to make their own decision about which mobility aids to use to walk short distances based on their ability rather than using a wheelchair. The care plan, or care and support plan, is owned by the individual and is written in the first person. For example, I would like to try a walking frame when I am moving around the house and moving short distances outside rather than using my wheelchair. The individual has as much over their choices they make. For example, the individual is supported to try and use the walking frame. The care plan, or care and support plan, is needs-led, not service-led. This means the support is diagnosed to meet the unique needs of the individual to make their life better, and not to fit them into pre-existing service. For example, the frame source is the best for the individual with the resources available, or they are able to find a frame from somewhere else if necessary. Promoting dignity. Focusing on the value of every individual, respecting their views, choices, and decisions, not making assumptions about how they want to be treated, and working with 6 C's. Compassion and care. Putting person-centered values into practice means that you are providing care that is focused on the individual. It demonstrates to the individual that you want to care and support them. The importance of finding out history, preferences, wishes, and needs of the individual. To provide care and support that respects the individual's wishes, needs, and preferences, you will need to find out what you can about them. This will vary depending on your workplace. Taking time to find out about their insight into their likes and dislikes. This will help the care plan to be put together with them. Care plan. A required document that sets out in detail the way the daily care and support must be provided for an individual. Care plans may also be known as plans for support. The changing needs of the individual. Care or support plans are an important source of information, as they are dynamic records that are constantly reviewed and updated in response to changing needs and preferences. A review will look at what doesn't work and what might need to change. For example, if an individual is unable to eat certain food, their diet will need to change, but still reflect the things they would like to eat. Care plans are also legal documents, which might be needed as evidence if the individual makes a complaint. Properly maintained care plans means that workers changing shifts or returning from holidays and temporary or agency workers will always have enabling them to provide the best possible person-centered care. It will also enable them to know how to provide care and support for the individuals new to them. Ask your manager for copies of different care plans to make sure you understand how they are used within your workplace. Your manager should be able to explain how the plan should be used, and if you feel that an individual's care plan needs to be changed, talk to your manager or the person responsible for this within your workplace. Supporting individuals to plan for their future well-being and fulfillment, including end-of-life care. The person-centered approach uses the idea that everyone has an inner wish to fulfill their personal potential. In a safe, non-judgmental and compassionate place, they make the best decisions. Non-judgmental, individual for who they are, seeing them as positive and capable of making their own decisions and choices. It is important that individuals are supported to plan for their future well-being and fulfillment so that their quality of life is improved, even if they're only in short-term care. The Care Act 2014 describes well-being as relating to the following areas: personal dignity, including treating someone with respect, physical and mental and emotional well-being, protection from abuse and neglect, control by the individual over day-to-day life, including over the way care and support is provided, participation in work, education, training or recreation, social and economic well-being, domestic, family and personal relationships, suitability of living accommodation, and the individual's contribution to society. By clicking the link, you'll be able to read more information about the Care Act guidance. Individuals should be encouraged to express themselves and to change their mind about things they want to. It is important to take time to talk about their needs and what they want. This is especially true for end-of-life care, where a person might not be able to voice their wishes as they could before. You will then need to use different ways of communicating. This may also involve working with an advocate who is able to express the individual's wishes on behalf if they are unable. The individual will have planned ahead and expressed what they want to happen within their care if they cannot decide for themselves anymore. This is called Advanced Care Planning, ACP, and is backed by the Mental Health Capacity Act 2005. And you can see that there if you have a look on the link. Advocate. An advocate seeks to ensure that people, particularly those who are most vulnerable in society, are able to have their voice heard on issues that are important to them, defend and safeguard their rights, have their views and wishes genuinely considered when decisions are being made about their lives. Minimizing environmental factors that may cause discomfort or distress. The following are examples of things in the area around an individual, the environment they find themselves in, that may cause discomfort or distress: lighting, noise, temperature, unpleasant odours. In order to promote well-being, the individual should feel comfortable where they are. If they find the lights are too bright, dim them where possible. Close doors or windows, or adjust the volume on the TV. If possible, adjustable, and air rooms or clean away anything that might cause unpleasant smells. The important thing to remember is that if you ask them about anything they are not happy with, and then do what you can to make the environment the best it can be for them. If you are working at night, it will be impossible to work in the dark or without any noise at all. But you need to be careful to minimize any discomfort or stress. If you are worried that the individual's environment is causing them distress and you cannot solve it straight away, talk to their carer if they are living at home. Advice on how to make changes. Family members might be another source of information, as they will know the individual better. Being aware of actions that may be causing discomfort or distress to individuals. As part of an individual's care plan, you may have to do things that are uncomfortable or even painful for them. For example, when moving and assisting. You will need to carry out these activities with the greatest care and sensitivity. Before you begin a task or day, you should ask them and tell them what you are about to do might be uncomfortable or painful. Don't forget that consent is a vital part of care work and particularly important or unpleasant. If, for example, you need to open curtains and let bright light in or make a noise, it is respectful and polite to tell them so they are prepared. Also, explore options with your manager if you feel there might be other ways of approaching something to reduce discomfort or distress. You may need to get further advice referral to the GP. Other systems within your workplace, for example handovers or team meetings, are good opportunities to make co-workers aware of the concerns you may have. Maybe together you can find ways of working that minimize the stress or discomfort. You may also find that your worries are shared by others who can help identify a procedure that needs to be changed. Reporting your concerns is good practice as it can improve the quality of care and support. Handovers. These take place at the start or the end of a shift when the staff teams change. Vital information is passed to the next team to make sure the quality of care continues. Supporting individuals to minimize pain or discomfort. Usually, if someone feels uncomfortable, they'll be able to move until they find somewhere a more comfortable position. Individuals with limited movement or mobility might not be able to do so. You should make sure that you recognize if they need support to feel more at ease. Apart from the individual telling you that they may be in pain or discomfort, there are also non-verbal signs. The way they look, their body language, such as gestures or facial expressions, could be a good sign. For example, doubling over, gritted teeth, pale complexion, sweating, tears, furrowed brows, or other messages could become. If you know or suspect someone is in pain or discomfort, work with them to try and find a way of making them more comfortable. This may be by helping them change their position. Make sure that you are able to do this with support from another worker if necessary, always within line of the individual's care plan. You may notice that the equipment that you are using is causing them discomfort or pain. Take steps to change the position of equipment if necessary, but only ever do so with the individual's consent. If you are unsure about what to do, always check with your manager or supervisor. There may be additional environmental factors that could be causing distress. These could include wet or soiled clothing or bed linen, poorly positioned lighting for disposing and changing of soiled bed linen. Also, with any changes that you are making, talk through your actions with the individual so that they understand what you are doing and why you are doing it. This will reassure them and keep them involved. Supporting individuals to maintain their identity and self-esteem. Well-being is a term used to describe feeling comfortable in one's life. It can relate to many aspects of life, such as the spirituality, finding meaning and purpose in life. This could be through religious faith, but may equally as important to a non-religious person. Emotional, how we feel about ourselves. Cultural, in both senses, our sense of identity and our engagement with art, science, crafts, hobbies, etc. Religious or philosophical, our faith or our other beliefs. Social, our relationships, including any romantic ones. Political, peace and stability in our homeland, justice, campaigns, or simply political opinions. Sexual, our intimacies. Physical, leading an active life, releasing our potential and ability to contribute to society. Mental, realizing our potential and ability to contribute to society. Well-being, a person's well-being may include their sense of hope, confidence, their wants and needs, to make contact with others, to show warmth and affection, and to experience and show pleasure or enjoyment. All these aspects of well-being make up who we are, our identity. Everyone has different feelings, attitudes, and goals. Each one of these aspects also influences your worth. If you were cut off from your friends and family, you would quickly feel lonely and unloved. If, on the other hand, you were leading an active life, having the choice to do what you want with lots of friends, you would feel valued and self-confident. You would have a good sense of identity and self-worth. Identity. Our identity refers to our view of ourselves, who we are, and what makes us who we are. Empathy. This term means to see things from the individual's perspective. It is being in their shoes, to try and understand them and how they see things. To be happy with as many aspects of their life as possible. It would help them to feel better, be positive, understanding, empathetic, and non-judgmental. Listen to what they consider important in their lives and help to make the changes they want, for example, to be able to join in particular. It is important that you raise concerns that you may have about the emotional spiritual needs of an individual. Your line manager, supervisor, a senior member of staff, or an individual's carer will know how to look for what can be done to meet these needs. Often, this will be achieved by working together with those important to the individual and other services. If the individual cannot communicate their emotional spiritual needs, their family or friends might be able to advise on how to help or be able to provide help themselves. However, you must not assume that the individual has the same spiritual or ethical outlook as their family and friends, or necessarily want to join the same practices or activities. Supporting the individual using person-centered values. You will have noticed already how all the different person-centered values work together and none stand alone. Independence is associated with individuality and choice. Choice is closely linked to dignity and respect. All these values are there to give the person the power to speak up and take as much control as possible in order to live a fulfilled life.
Great work on finishing this What You Need to Know booklet. In this series, we also have the What Do You Need to Know activity booklet that follows on from this video.